Look, I think there's going to be some tremendous challenges, and indeed for all of us, not just young people. And I think, as we're increasingly being exposed to changing and lessening of the lockdown, I think it's the recognition that lessening the lockdown will be a process, not an event, and that things won't immediately go back to where they were before. And indeed, it may take much more time, and it will be about learning new norms. And I think that this is going to be very tough for all of us, perhaps adults indeed, more than young people. And I like to think that where we are now is not the beginning of the end, but as Winston Churchill said so famously back in, I think it was back in the early 40s, it's as if we're at the end of the beginning. And so I think thinking about what this looks like over the next weeks to months, as we have done well in Australia in terms of reducing the potential impact. And I think that now perhaps is the time, even as much as it was right at the start, where it's going to be much harder, I think, to be engaging with young people around why it is that as each stage changes in terms of the lessening of the lockdown, these messages are going to need to be so clearly reinforced by everyone. And I think that this is where potentially, with different states doing things at different timing, it's going to be much more challenging for young people who are going to perhaps feel that it's unfair, and that, why can they do one thing in one state and not us in another state? And I think it is going to require parents, schools, our political leaders and other leaders in the community to be really aligned and consistent in the messaging that we're communicating to young people, which has been incredibly effective with all of us in the early phases. But I think it is going to be perhaps as big a challenge, to be honest, as we move into lessening the lockdown.